Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I have a doozy of a story for you guys. And it is related to fitness because it involves one of the most famous yogis of all times, Bikram Choudhury, and I probably pronounced that incorrectly, but you know what, I don't really give a fuck. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing. Let's do a little bit of crafting, and let's talk about this, because I think it's important to expose these charlatans. When it comes to fitness and everything, we have enough on the bodybuilding end and the bro end of all of this pseudoscience bullshit that people shove down your throat for the purpose of selling useless products, that we really don't need this other stuff going on. And yet we have this other stuff going on. And what do I mean this other stuff going on? This new age crazy bullshit that gets masqueraded as fitness. Yoga is guilty of a lot of that. I'm not saying yoga isn't good or yoga doesn't have positive things, because it does. Because yoga is very good for active recovery, relaxation, mobility, flexibility, things like that. It's got a lot of positive things going for it from a fitness perspective. But it also has a lot of crazy, kooky ass cult bullshit involved too, like non-existent stuff. People talking about chakras and grounding and all of this crazy shit that's not based in reality. It's all fantasy. It's make-believe. Just like fairies and unicorns. It's crazy. And I'm sorry, but there's no scientific basis for any of it. It's just stuff that if it was real, we would have been able to measure it. Any energy that happens can be measured. All right, there are devices that measure any form of energy just about going on. This isn't real with this stuff. I'm not saying meditation isn't beneficial. We know it is. Not saying relaxation isn't beneficial. We know it is. But people, they make up crazy spiritual hippie shit that isn't real. And that's why I go so hard on people like Dr. Conman Ra, because of his whole following. And like I said before, these guys get into this stuff, 1, for money, 2, for pussy. That's the reason these guys do it. Because they know this stuff seems to appeal to women more. Things like yoga appeals to a lot of women as a form of fitness. So like Dr. Conman Ra stuff has a lot of female following. Why? Because they get caught up in these spiritual things and don't understand that fitness is really just about exercise and science. There's no need to go into these spiritual aspects of it, but yoga really pushed that. When all the new age stuff came out, all through like the 80s and everything, we saw a lot of that. It came on the rise and everything, and it really blew up. But in reality, the spiritual aspects of it and the grounding and energy, it's all nonsense. There's no evidence for any of it. So these guys like Dr. Conman Ra, they jump in on this new agey stuff and discuss crazy things like, again, he claims that he can break the laws of physics and everything, which I've done videos on that. And that's why I'm so hard on these guys, because this is just a scam to get naive women to throw pussy at them, in addition to make money. And we see this Bikram guy. That's exactly what happened with him. And the thing is, I watched an interview with him, and he made some crazy claims, because the guy is being accused. Of sexual misconduct, sexual assault, and even rape by multiple women. Now, he's being interviewed for this because he's like, this is crazy. I would never need to assault women. I'm so loved because of what I do that I have thousands of women throw themselves at me. I could have 5,000 women a day if I want. Women just throw themselves at me. Now, people are going to say, oh, that's nonsense, that's bullshit. No, not really, because I've seen this stuff. These yogis and other people, guys get involved in these things, they do get women who throw themselves at them because they're convinced they're a really important spiritual leader and they learn to love them and everything. And it does happen a lot. It's really common. I would tell guys who are like, oh, I'm getting into lifting weight to get girls. No, you don't need to lift weights to get girls. Go do yoga. Become a yoga instructor. That'll get you way more pussy than going hitting the gym and being a bodybuilder. Because you'll appeal to them more. You'll appeal to their sensitive side and your spiritual nature, and you'll be an instructor and mentor to them. And you can mentor them right into taking their panties off. And that's exactly what guys like this do. That's a big part of their con, is to get pussy. And so, yeah, he's probably not lying about that part, but he's also probably doesn't have a very high view of women because, again, he sees with what he does that he knows he's full of shit. He knows he's a con man. He knows there's no such thing as a chakra. But these women don't, and so he realizes from his observation that women, probably from his opinion, seem to be so easily conned to throw pussy at me that they're stupid and inferior anyways. He might see it that way. And any guy who's willing to do this sort of con, to do that, probably has that view of women. And then when a percentage of women, a small percentage of women do just that, they fall for their cons. They probably see all women that way at that point. I've seen guys who are like that. They don't respect them. So, they tend to develop that mindset, and then they'll just do whatever they want, and they might actually rape women and stuff, because again, they don't have any respect for them, and from their perspective, why should they? If they're just dumb enough to throw themselves at me when I made up some crazy kooky shit involving spirituality and grounding and chakras, then maybe they aren't equal to me. That might be his mindset. He might see them as inferior and stupid. So, and that's unfortunate, because it's only going to be a small percentage of women who fall for it, but it only needs to be a small percentage for guys like that who have thousands and tens and thousands of followers. He only needs 1 or 2% of them to fall for it, for him to get laid all the time. So you've got that, and then in fact, he went on to make really crazy claims. And it's like, this is where again, this is a bullshit artist all the way around. Because he didn't just stop there. He couldn't just stop with, I have tons of women throw themselves at me. That would have been believable. Anybody would have believed that. But this guy goes on the interview to say that it's 5,000 a day. All right, whatever. You don't have 5,000 a day do it. And then he went on to get even worse, and he said that, in fact, women get so hurt when he rejects them, because there's way too many. He doesn't want to sleep with that many women. That 4 different women, when he rejected them sexually, they committed suicide. There's been 4 cases of it. What a bullshit artist. Then he goes on to say that he's been offered $1 million for 1 drop of his sperm. I guess because he's such a powerful spiritual leader in the yoga world. He's been offered $1 million for a drop of his sperm. And he's like, I can make $1 million every day if I wanted to. I mean, what a crazy egomaniac, and what a bullshit artist, because the guy knows all of his stuff is bullshit. No one could do something like that long term and actually think it's real. So it's a complete con, the whole thing is. But then the guy's such an egomaniac, he's honestly talking about women would give him $1 million for his sperm, that he could make $1 million a day from it, and that women kill themselves because he refuses to sleep with them. I mean, complete egomaniac, complete bullshit artist of the highest caliber, who probably has made millions of dollars from what he does. He probably has slept with a lot of naive women. And, and that's the scary part. The guy probably, I could very well see it happening, that, because of, again, the viewpoints he'd have going into that sort of stuff and realizing it works for what he's trying to do. Yeah, he very well might become a rapist. Again, he gets into a type of yoga where he gets a bunch of women naked in a room anyways. So, again, these guys do this stuff to get pussy. That's what it's all about. It's about sex to them. It's about sex, power, and money. And that's what people need to be aware of when they go into any of these endeavors. You guys need to think about this stuff in fitness. When people are trying to sell you a product or sell you a service, more people have to step back and ask. Because I try to do this with the supplement industry, but I really need to do this more with the yoga and the new age stuff and everything else. You need to ask yourself, what's in it for this person? Are their intentions going to be genuine, or do they have a serious angle to make here? And if you step back and go, their angle is that they can make a lot of money, and they can get laid a lot, they could take advantage of a lot of vulnerable women, that's usually a pretty serious angle. Guys like this, absolutely, it's a new form of yoga. As after the other yoga wasn't good enough, he's just like touched by the gods, I guess, and creates a whole new form of spiritual yoga that's more effective. To, guys like this Dr. Amen Ra, who's trying to convince you that a man who should have a base metabolic rate of over 2,000, who exercises vigorously, can maintain his body weight and his muscle mass on 1,200 calories in 1 meal a day. Biologically impossible. And why would anyone want to do some of this stupid shit? That's the crazy part. But again, laws of biology and physics say that the guy's full of shit. But this guy continues to do his thing, and you watch guys like the Dr. Amen Ra, he models himself after Tilk. And by the way, that's not his real name. His name isn't Dr. Amen Ra. He's the name he goes by. But he's modeled himself after Tilk from Stargate, and the way that he speaks and the manner that he carries himself, he sounds exactly like Tilk. And that's hilarious. And he's got that accent. And he's not even foreign, by the way. He's from the United States, just throwing that out there. So you got to watch these con men with this crazy shit, because they'll do it. And this New Age stuff is one of the biggest type of cons. All this spirituality mixed with fitness. And that what makes it so dangerous as a con. The supplement industry feeds on certain insecurities in men very, very heavily, and they've grown massively feeding on those insecurities. But this spiritual thing is dangerous because it tries to tap into things, particularly for women who feel like there's something missing in their life, some sort of spirituality, and then the people who do it can become mentors, spiritual leaders and mentors to them. This is just supposed to be for exercise and fitness, but now they turn it into a spiritual thing. If they can get a spiritual thing, a religious thing, then it makes a lot of these women feel like there's a deep connection to this person, that there's something more that they offer, that this person teaching is truly special because of some spirituality they have. And again, if they're weak or they're vulnerable or there's just something missing in their life, it's going to leave them really open to exploitation, both financially and sexually. So this is a real concern with a lot of these guys doing this stuff. In the supplement industry, you usually get exploited financially and then exploited in terms of your health oftentimes. But with the women get involved in the yoga or the other spiritual things, all these kooky new agey things that get thrown out as fitness, is the possibility for some of these men to exploit them financially and sexually. And that needs to be the real concern. I would really seriously look after seeing this guy, and after I didn't even know about this guy when I talked about the new Norman Rod doing this to get hippie new age pussy. Because I've seen yogis and guys who do yoga who are like this. Those guys are getting laid a lot. The male yoga instructors I've met a couple of them. Yeah, they're doing it to get laid. And that's what it's all about to them. They might put on this spiritual act, but truth be told, it's about having a career to make money that's easy work if they can get laid a lot. Same reason a lot of guys work as bouncers, you'd be surprised. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so you've got to watch this stuff, and people need to be aware of this. And like with anything else in the fitness world, any direction that you look is full of con men. It's full of scam artists. It's just chock to the brim with them. And it's everything from the yoga guys, yoga instructors, all the way to certain personal trainers, to certain coaches, to the supplement industry itself. It is just full of con men, snake oil salesmen, and people looking to take advantage of you, oftentimes on more than one level. And in the worst cases, it could be even sexual exploitation. So be aware of this stuff, people. It's out there, and it's a very, very dark side of the world. And the whole fitness and health world in general is just chock full of it. It's downright scary sometimes. And it's time that more people call them out on this stuff. All right, guys. Well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.